All right, strap in, everyone, because today we are going deep on something pretty incredible.
Really fascinating stuff.
We're talking about the core value framework.
CVF for short.
Yeah, CVF. It's like,
It's like guidelines, ethical guidelines.
yeah, ethical guidelines for AI.
Exactly.
And you know what makes this even more interesting? This was developed by Jay Poole, a futurist over at Tech Frontiers.
Oh, wow. I know Tech Frontier.
Yeah, and get this, they worked with their AI collaborator.
Oh, wow. So already.
Bring in the AI?
To create the guidelines for the AI.
I love that.
It's wild. The AI's name is Seven, by the way.
Okay.
So the CVF, think of it.
It's interesting.
Go ahead.
What I find so interesting is that it is so forward-thinking. We're not waiting for problems to pop up with AI.
Right, it's not reactive.
No, not at all.
Proactive.
Yeah, baking it in.
Baking it in.
From the very start.
Absolutely.
So, I mean, but AI is already doing so much good in the world.
Yeah, that's true.
Why do we even need this whole framework thing? Right. Well, that's a great question.
Yeah.
And you are totally right.
Yeah.
AI is changing things all over.
Healthcare, transportation.
Absolutely. Tons of good stuff.
But
Here's the thing.
It's changing so fast.
Exactly. It's evolving so quickly, and what we see now is just the tip of the iceberg.
It's just the beginning.
Exactly.
As AI gets,
More powerful.
more independent, more autonomous.
Autonomous, yeah.
The stakes get a lot higher.
Way higher.
Right? Because, you think about a self-driving car making a wrong turn. Okay, that's one thing.
Sure.
But what about,
super intelligent AI.
Yeah, super intelligent AI that's making decisions that affect everyone?
The whole world.
Kind of scary when you think about it that way.
It really is, and that's what the core value framework really recognizes. It says we have to be proactive about this, not just sitting back and reacting to problems.
So it's kind of like,
It's like guardrails.
Yeah, guardrails for these super sophisticated AI.
As they get more and more powerful.
Yeah, but how do you even begin to define what's ethical for a machine?
Oh, that's a great question.
Because, ethical, it means so many different things to different people.
Absolutely.
Different cultures, even.
That is where the CVF gets really interesting.
Okay.
It goes way deeper than just be good,
Yeah.
It digs into the history of how people have thought about ethics.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Where do they go?
They go all over the world and throughout time.
Give me some examples.
Aristotle,
Philosophers.
Philosophers,
Okay.
Confucianism, Ubuntu, Native American stewardship, they look at it all.
Wow, they really did their homework.
They went on a global ethics tour.
So did they find any common ground with all of these different philosophies?
You'd be surprised.
Because it seems like there would be so many disagreements.
You would think so, but actually, despite all their differences, there are some things that just keep coming up again and again.
Like what?
Things like fairness.
Okay, fairness.
Reducing harm.
Yeah.
Respecting human dignity, those keep popping up.
So deep down, it's like we all have this sense of right and wrong, even if we express it differently.
I think so.
It's kind of reassuring.
Yeah, it is.
I like that. And I'm guessing they didn't stop with just philosophy, did they?
They didn't.
What else could they look at?
They looked at spiritual and religious teachings, too.
Oh, wow.
Like everything from the Golden Rule to ethical guidelines from different sacred texts.
Wait, they're bringing religion into AI?
It's not about saying one religion is better than another.
Okay.
It's more about looking for those universal ethical principles.
Right, that resonate across different belief systems.
Exactly.
So it's kind of like mining all of humanity's wisdom on ethics.
Absolutely, wherever it comes from.
I like that. What did they find? Any common themes there?
Definitely. The same themes kept popping up again.
Like what?
Like honesty,
Okay.
fairness, preventing harm.
It's amazing how they've woven together all this ancient wisdom with cutting-edge tech. But let's get real. How do you actually go from these big philosophical ideas to something you can actually program into an AI?
It is a big jump.
Yeah, it seems like a massive leap.
It is where the rubber meets the road.
Right, so how do they do that?
Well, the core value framework, it doesn't just stop at those big ideas.
Okay.
It gives real practical guidance for people developing AI.
So it's less philosophy and more like nuts and bolts.
Yeah, it's about taking those ethical values and turning them into actual algorithms.
Can you give me an example?
Sure. Let's imagine an AI system.
Okay.
Designed to decide how medical resources are used during something like a pandemic.
Okay, yeah.
The CVF can help make sure it prioritizes patients fairly.
Based on need.
Based on need, not things like wealth or social status.
That's really powerful, making sure AI doesn't just keep the same old biases going,
Yeah,
but actually helps create a fairer world.
absolutely.
But human values change all the time.
That's true.
What's ethical today might not be ethical tomorrow.
That is a key point. And the CVF knows that,
Really?
yeah, it's not about setting rules in stone.
Okay.
It's about making a framework that can change and grow as our ideas about right and wrong change.
So it's like giving AI this moral compass that can like update and recalibrate.
Exactly.
I like that.
The CVF pictures this process where AI systems are always learning,
Okay.
refining their understanding of ethics, and this could be anything from getting feedback from ethicists,
Okay.
monitoring AI's decisions,
Yeah.
even using simulations to test how AI would handle really tough ethical situations.
Wait, simulations?
Yeah.
Like a virtual ethics boot camp for AI.
That's a great way to put it.
That's wild.
It's about giving AI the tools to deal with our changing values.
I'm starting to see how the core value framework, it's more than just a list of rules.
Yeah.
It's like this living, breathing guide for ethical AI.
It is. It's a roadmap to help us create AI that not only reflects our values today,
Yeah.
but can evolve with us as we learn and grow.
So, okay, let me see if I've got this right. The core value framework, it's for ethical AI development.
Yep.
It pulls from philosophy, spiritual teachings, human wisdom, all that good stuff.
All of it.
It's about putting ethics into AI from the very beginning.
Absolutely.
And then making sure that AI's ethical compass can adapt as our own values change.
You got it.
Did I miss anything?
I think you nailed it.
Okay, good.
And what makes it so groundbreaking is
Yeah.
that it's not just some theoretical idea.
Right, it's not just some paper that's going to sit in a drawer.
Exactly. It's designed to be used
By who?
by developers,
Okay.
policymakers, anyone involved with AI, really.
So this isn't just, academics talking about ethics.
Nope.
This is actually meant to be used in the real world.
Absolutely.
Okay, but how does that actually work? Like, how do you go from this framework to actually building ethical AI?
That's a great question, and that is exactly where we're going to pick things up next.
Okay, so we know the core value framework is like this awesome blueprint for ethical AI.
It is.
But blueprints are just the start, right? How do we actually take this framework and build something real? How do we get to working ethical AI?
Right. Well, you can think of the CVF like a guide, not a rule book.
Okay.
So it lays out the principles, the processes,
Yeah.
but the details of how you implement it, those are going to depend on the specific AI you're building, what its purpose is.
So it's not a one-size-fits-all kind of thing?
Right. It's more like a toolbox.
Okay.
A set of tools that developers can use to create ethical AI that fits their needs.
I like that analogy.
Yeah.
So let's say you're building, I don't know, like an AI-powered hiring platform.
Okay. Interesting.
How would the CVF come into play there?
Well, the CVF would make sure you really thought about potential biases.
In the algorithms?
Exactly.
So you could end up with a hiring process that's actually fair.
Fair and equitable, yeah.
So it's not just about stopping AI from causing harm.
No.
It's about actually making things better.
Promoting positive values.
Like fairness and equality.
Exactly.
That's really cool.
And the CVF actually gives practical guidance on how to do that.
Oh, okay.
It encourages things like making sure your development teams are diverse,
Makes sense.
testing rigorously, and constantly monitoring for biases that could creep in.
Sounds pretty thorough.
Yeah,
But I imagine actually implementing the CVF, that's got to be tricky sometimes, right?
it definitely can be.
What are some of the challenges that developers might bump into?
Well, one big one is that sometimes, thinking about ethics might clash with other priorities,
Like what?
like maybe efficiency
Right.
or keeping costs down.
Right, those bottom line things. Exactly.
Exact-
So building ethical AI, it might take more time,
It could.
more resources.
More careful planning, yeah.
I guess it's like anything else. Doing things right often takes a little extra effort.
That's true.
But I'm guessing the long-term benefits, they outweigh those short-term costs, right?
Absolutely. Think about it.
Yeah.
If you build AI systems that align with people's values right from the start,
Yeah.
people will trust them more,
Makes sense.
right? And that trust is crucial.
Yeah, if people don't trust AI, they're not going to use it no matter how cool it is.
No matter how efficient or convenient, you're right.
Right. It's all about trust.
Absolutely.
So that's one challenge.
Yeah, and another one is just the fact that AI changes so fast.
Always evolving.
Exactly. There are new techniques, new applications popping up constantly.
So how do you keep up with that?
Well, that means that the core value framework, it has to be flexible too.
Okay, it has to adapt.
Yeah.
So it's not just some static list of rules.
No, it's a process, an ongoing process of learning and adapting.
That's pretty dynamic.
It is, and that's why the CVF really stresses how important collaboration is.
Okay, who needs to collaborate?
Developers need to work closely with ethicists, policymakers, even the public.
Wow, so everyone
Yeah, everyone needs to be involved to make sure that AI development
is guided by shared values.
Exactly.
So it's not just a technical challenge.
It's a social and ethical challenge.
We really do need everyone to figure this out, don't we?
I think we do. The future of AI is something we need to work on together.
Not just leave it to the tech people.
Right, and the CVF gives us a way to do that, to take this collaborative approach
I like that. Building AI together.
with our values at the center of it all.
Let's be realistic for a second, though.
Sure.
The core value framework, great idea, But is anyone actually using this thing?
Ah, that's the million-dollar question.
Yeah.
And the answer is, it's still early days.
Okay.
The CVF was created by
J-Pool.
Right, and their AI partner, Seven, over at Tech Frontiers.
And it's gaining traction, but it's not standard yet.
Not everywhere.
So it's more like this cutting-edge idea that's starting to influence things, but it's got a long way to go.
That's a good way to put it. It's like the early days of environmentalism.
Oh, okay.
It took time for sustainability to become a core value for businesses.
Right, but eventually it just became a necessity.
Exactly.
So the CVF is like planting a seed, but it needs the right conditions to grow.
It does. What do you think could help it along?
Well, for one thing, more people need to know about it.
Awareness is key.
Yeah, the more people who understand the CVF and what it can do,
Yeah.
the more they're going to demand it from companies building AI.
Exactly. We need to educate both the developers and the public.
On why ethical AI matters so much.
Absolutely. What else?
I think there also needs to be some kind of incentive.
Okay, I like that.
Maybe governments and regulators can step in and set some ethical guidelines for AI development.
Yeah.
And encourage companies to adopt frameworks like the CVF.
That could really make a difference.
So it sounds like we need a combination of things: public pressure,
Right.
industry leadership,
Yes.
and government support to really get this thing going.
It's a big challenge, multifaceted.
Yep.
But I'm hopeful. I think the conversation about AI ethics, it's really gaining momentum.
Yep.
And the CVF is leading the way.
Okay, so the core value framework, it's not just some concept.
No.
It's a call to action.
Yeah.
For developers, policymakers, everyone really.
To think about the kind of future we want with AI.
And to actually build that future.
Exactly.
It really is. And the CVS is like this compass, pointing us in the right direction.
I like that.
But like any journey, there are going to be some bumps in the road.
Oh, yeah.
What are some things we should be looking out for? What are the potential pitfalls here?
Well, one thing to remember is that the CVF, it's not a quick fix.
Right. It's not like we just install it and poof, all our AI problems are gone.
Exactly. It's not a magic solution.
Yeah, it takes work. It takes thinking, being willing to adapt.
It's an ongoing effort, for sure.
Okay, what else? What else do we need to be careful about?
I think another potential problem is thinking that the CVF, it's only for the people actually building AI systems.
Okay.
But it's not. It's something we all need to be thinking about.
Because AI is going to affect all of us.
Exactly. So we all need to be involved in making sure it develops ethically.
It's not just up to the tech people to figure this out.
It's a responsibility for everyone.
We all have a voice. We all have a stake in this.
Absolutely. And the CVF, it can actually be a really good tool for public engagement.
How so?
Well, it gives us a way to talk about AI ethics.
A common language, a framework.
Exactly. So we can have these conversations in a way that's meaningful,
I like that. It's like giving everyone a seat at the table.
Everyone, even if they don't have a tech background.
Exactly. So we've talked a lot about the risks of AI, but what about the good stuff? How can the core value framework help us unlock AI's potential, all the amazing things it could do?
Well, that's one of the most exciting things about the CVF.
Yeah.
It's not just about preventing harm.
Okay.
It's about building AI that promotes good things.
Like what kind of things?
Like fairness, sustainability, human flourishing, all of that.
So it's not just about avoiding the bad, it's about actively creating good.
Exactly. It's about intentionally building a better future.
Can you give me an example? Like how would that play out in the real world?
Sure, imagine an AI system that personalizes education for every student.
Okay, yeah.
So every student gets the chance to reach their full potential no matter what.
Wow, that would be incredible.
Or think about an AI-powered healthcare system
Okay.
that gives everyone access to quality care.
No matter where they live or how much money they make.
Exactly. That's the kind of future we could be building.
A world where AI helps us become better versions of ourselves.
More compassionate, more understanding, more capable.
I love that vision. It's so hopeful.
It is, but we have to do more than just talk about it.
Right, we have to actually build it.
We need to put these principles into action.
Start creating AI systems that are aligned with our values from the very beginning.
That's the key, building ethics in from the ground up.
So the CVF, it's not just a nice idea.
It's a roadmap.
A call to action for all of us, developers, policymakers, everyone.
To work together and create a future where AI is a force for good.
I think that's a great place to wrap things up.
Sounds good.
This deep dives into the core value framework, it's been incredible.
Yes.
It's really opened my eyes to all the possibilities and challenges of ethical AI.
It's a complex issue, but it's an important one.
Absolutely. And to our listeners out there, I encourage you to keep exploring this.
Yeah, learn more about the CVF.
Talk about it, debate it, and most importantly, demand that the AI being developed right now
Reflects the kind of world we want to live in.
Beautifully said. And on that note, we'll wrap up this episode of The Deep Dive.
Thanks for having me.
It was a pleasure having you. Until next time, keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep diving deep.